This is a colonial cupboard with a cornice molding for decoration at the top. The molding shape is a simple arc making the cove cut. The first step is to make a simple model of your table saw top and blade. The top should be dimensionally identical to your actual saw. This blade is 10 inches in diameter and located in its proper position with respect to the tabletop. I'll open the component dialog box and pick the blank cornice shape marked out with the Cove arc. The waste has already been removed on the table or bandsaw at an appropriate angle. I'll use the rotate tool to position the coved face flat on the tabletop. Then I'll move it closer position to the saw blade. I'm using the keyboard arrow keys to make sure I maintain the flush position on the table surface. With the arc tool, I'll check the bulge or the height of the arc. It is 5/16 inch. This is the exact height desired for the saw blade above the tabletop surface. To lower the saw blade, I'll move the group for edit and use the Move Copy tool to push it down, referencing off the top surface of the arc. Next, to position the very edge of the cove cut on the blade where it exactly protrudes through the tabletop surface. Again, I'll use arrow keys to make sure I stay flush. We need to rotate the blade so that its projected length is just equal to the width of the cove. Draw a line on the green axis from the other end of the cove. This will help us to fix the appropriate rotation. I've found that it is easier to rotate the saw rather than the cornice blank, so click on the table saw, pick the rotate tool, make sure to hold the blue color, and click it on the edge of the cove where it meets the saw blade. Then click the rotate tool on the alternate end of the saw blade and at the opposite face of the blade. Begin the rotation of the table saw and stop at the line. Zoom in closely to stop the rotation at the line. Now we have a projected length of the saw blade equal to the actual length of the cove cut in the cornice blank. I'll click on the camera parallel projection to inspect the saw blade position with respect to the cove marking. Also, I'll change to a front view and turn on X-ray. Looks to me like there is a very close match up of the saw to the desired cove cut. Next, I'll make a fence and position it exactly to perform the desired cove cut. Place a guideline at the fence location. I'm using the right arrow key to make this guideline. Use the line tool to trace over the guideline. At this point, we can check the angle for the fence location. Using the protractor, click it on the intersection, click it on one edge and then the other. Looks like about 50.8 degrees. I'll proceed to make the fence first by drawing out the end face. I'm using 3/4 inch material for the fence. Make the end face of a component. Then with the push-pull tool, extrude the length. You can use the angle we already determined, but it can be easier to locate the fence by using dimensions off the edges of the table saw top. Hide the cornice blank and locate 2 dimensions for positioning the fence.